So,
we've gone through the classic Jimmy Bond phase, part 1. So, what comes after the brilliant You Only Live Twice?
What some Bond films regard to be as being the best.
Do you mean Bond fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Bond films.
Bond films, yeah.
Yep.
Amongst Bond fans, some is considered to be the best film. Secret Service is probably the best Bond book.
Yep.
By some distance. The film...
I remember it being really long and boring.
Yeah.
With a really unengaging main actor.
Yes, that's correct. So, in the hunt for a new James Bond, you've got all these wonderfully talented actors out there who could play James Bond, including a very, very young Timothy Dalton.
Yep.
A very young Roger Moore. They went with the guy that starred in chocolate adverts as James Bond. George Lazenby.
That's his name.
George Lazenby, who's so crap, he gets a poorly computer-generated image. Look at that.
Look at his face.
It's hideous. That is not George Lazenby's actual face. That is like computer-generated, I swear.
Really?
Yeah, that looks horrible, doesn't it? But Secret Service among some Bond fans is considered to be the best one.
Yeah.
Because it most sticks to the book. But for me, it's a long, meandering, boring, less...
2.5 hours?
Yeah, it's close to 2.5 hours.
2 hours 16, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that sticks closest to the book.
Yeah.
The villain's plot, Blofeld is on the run again. Blofeld now hides in a mansion in the Alps, and he plans on spreading like this virus amongst the world through these 20 beautiful women. they all have this like virus, and we're going to spread it. We're going to go back to the different countries around the world and spread the virus.
Yeah. I remember Telly Savalas being very good.
Telly Savalas is really good. Diana Rigg is really good.
Yep.
Diana Rigg plays Tracy, who ends up being Bond's wife. This is the one where Bond gets married. And Diana Rigg is a fine actress.
Yep.
She's made most impact recently in Game of Thrones.
I'm just remembering the terrible bit in the Roger Moore one where he dropped Blofeld down a roof.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll get to that one.
Yeah, no. Just every time I think of him now, it starts. Ah!
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, Telly Savalas, he's really great, and Diana Rigg's really great.
Yep.
George Lazenby as Bond, it's been said before and it's said again, he's not great.
No. Well, I think the problem with the film is that you're meant to have this... Like, when doesn't she get just shot outside the wedding or something?
It's when they're driving away and Blofeld goes by and they fire at her and then she dies. But the problem with this one is you're expected to treat James Bond like a human.
Yep.
Problem is he's kind of not.
But he's not. It's because the actor isn't... I think this film would have been amazing if it had, I don't know, Pierce Brosnan.
Or Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, because they can...
Yeah.
Even Sean Connery, I don't think, can play it that wide. Like,
no.
he is the super cool spy, but the other ones are more... I don't think it'd have worked with Daniel Craig or Roger Moore. Certainly not with Roger Moore.
I think Timothy Dalton could have done it.
Yeah, I think he could have done.
But like, the problem with this one is, yeah, it's not that like... Because ultimately James Bond is a cartoon character.
Yeah.
But you've got to make your Bond more serious. Problem with this one is they didn't define a style for George Lazenby.
No.
It's a long, boring, meandering rest which feels like it's missing an action scene. In fact, it is. There's a scene where Bond is investigating the ever so exciting family heraldry of James Bond. And there's like one of Blofeld's spies outside, and Bond goes like on a roof chase. But apparently George Lazenby broke his foot.
So, he couldn't even do that right.
Yeah. So like you know when Daniel Craig first started, people like when he came on the boat.
Yeah.
And the Daily Mail was like, oh well, Daniel Craig got seasick. How could he be James Bond if he gets seasick? Well, George Lazenby broke his fucking foot.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't film that scene. And no disrespect to Mr. Lazenby, of course.
Is he even still alive?
Yeah, George Lazenby's still about. I think all he started was like the Kentucky Fried movies. I think that was his career after On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's got a good theme song. It's not like a song, but it's like an instrumental, which is really good. They use it in the trailer for The Incredibles.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. But the film itself is just a long, boring, meandering mess.
Well, the film is mainly there just for you, now anyway, to think like, what could it have been?
It could have been the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it starred a better actor, and if it tightened up the film a bit.
Yeah. Maybe if they remade it now, it could be great.
It could be, yeah. Because like emotionally, it is like, probably emotionally is the most engaging Bond story. Like right at the end when like the only time Lazenby gets good is at the end when his wife gets shot and he's like, We could have had all the time in the world.
I remember him not even being good then.
No,
it's pretty flat, isn't he?
It's very flat.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all right. It's all right. We have all the time in the world. I still like that. I know that's the closest he gets to being good.
Yeah.
It's still not good, but in the hands of another actor, that could have been a really great scene. But Secret Service for me, it's not one of the best. I just think there's too many. I think it's just boring.
Yeah.
It's just there's not much to it. The book's really good. The book is genuinely good.
Yeah.
And it's an emotionally very resonant scene, but no. But so I'd give Secret Service a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. Compared to the next film, though, it's a fucking masterpiece, isn't it?
The next one.
I'll have this. Diamonds Are Forever. This is pretty much probably one of the. I hated this film as a kid. I hated this film as well. Mainly because I just didn't understand what was going on at all. There's a really long section in this, isn't there, where he goes around someone's house and Bambi and Thumper are there.
Bambi and Thumper, yeah.
But then he walks around and they watch him.
Yeah.
And then they have a really weird fight where nothing really happens.
That's right. That's correct.
It seems like Sean Connery couldn't be bothered, which I don't think he could. Isn't this? I heard that he made this film in a deal where he could pick any 2 projects.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I know he made Sidney Lumet's film The Offence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and something else that's probably really good.
It was like so after Lazenby failed to set audiences alight with his boring, meandering plot and dreadful acting.
Yeah.
Sean Connery was coaxed to come back as Bond one more time. Did you know originally for Diamonds Are Forever we were going to consider an American Bond?
Really?
Dustin Hoffman was considered.
He
was honestly this close to getting the gig.
Man, I'm going out!
What's going on? Diamonds Are Forever! So we coaxed Connery back for a record amount of money back in the day.
Yeah.
With the promise of making 2 films of his choosing, which was one of them was The Offence and another was another film, Zardoz maybe.
Oh no!
And you can clearly tell Connery's lost a lot of hair and gained a lot of weight.
Yep.
In the 2 years between You Only Live Twice and Diamonds Are Forever, or 4 years maybe. So the plot sees James Bond going to Las Vegas to hunt down a diamond smuggler.
Yep.
He's chased by 2 gay henchmen.
Isn't there an awful scene in it and all where he gets put in a coffin and they're going to burn him, but then they just don't?
Yeah. Mr. Wint.
Mr. Wint and Mr. Something.
Yeah. And there's a scene where they put a scorpion down a man's throat. When I think of Diamonds Are Forever, I think of tack.
Tack.
Las Vegas, in my opinion, is a place where James Bond probably shouldn't go.
It's not very British.
It's not very British. It's not very classy.
No.
We've seen Las Vegas in a million movies, and the guy who plays Blofeld in this one, I forgot his name now. What's he called?
So Charles Gray.
Charles Gray, who I know from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've never seen that.
He is awful. The opening sequence where Bond is going round and he's interrogating these henchmen, where's Blofeld? It basically ends with a scene where Blofeld is he's had plastic surgery to change the look of his face. He gets killed by Bond putting him into a vat of mashed potato.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's a bizarre scene. And then from there he's investigating something to do with diamonds and some gay henchmen who have killed this poor old lady in Venice or something. There's a dreadful Bond girl in this one.
Tiffany Case,
who in the book Bond gets engaged to marry.
Yeah.
But it obviously doesn't pan out. The plot is totally different to the book, incidentally. It's got no bearing on the book. He meets a Howard Hawks-esque character. Bond gets in a moon buggy. The film suggests that the moon landings were faked.
Oh no. It's just a really boring, dull Bond film, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing engaging.
That's the problem. I think Bond, you either go serious or you go silly.
Incredibly camp and silly.
Yeah. You don't go in between.
The conclusion ends on Bond fighting on an oil rig.
Oh.
That's exciting.
Yes.
So Diamonds Are Forever is a 2 out of 10 film.
2 out of 10. I would say this is in the bottom 5, possibly bottom 3.
I think it's the worst one.
Do you? No. In our next one. The Mooey years, I think the worst one.
I'm sure there are some gems.
It's coming up. But yeah, join us for part 2 where we will begin... Part 3, sorry.
We'll look at the Mooey years.
Yeah, we'll begin with Live and Let Die and we will end with The Terrible View for a Kill.